Hello.
Hi.
It is the Christmas edition, Christmas Eve filming. We got 2 weeks of regular season left. So let's get into last week, how we did. We both had winning weeks on the picks. So Josh
Fantastic.
was 3-1. He missed the Steelers, but then hit the Lions to cover against the Bears, hit the Dolphins to cover against the Niners, and hit the Cowboys to cover against the Bucks. And all of those that he hit were pretty much no doubters. Like the teams were winning or covering most of the games. So he went 3-1, I went 3-2. I hit the Chargers Thursday night over the Broncos. I hit, I missed the Giants against the Falcons. Penix started really slow, but the good thing about playing the Giants is the Giants always start really slow. So he got the wind under his sails and ended up having a decent game.
They're in the
The
lead
pan,
now, division wise, because the
yeah, I
Bucks lost.
know, I
That's
know.
crazy.
There's always, I mean, stuff
Yeah.
always gets shaken up a little more than you think it will. But I hit the Panthers.
Yeah.
They controlled most of the game. They led most of the game. Went to overtime. I thought I was going to get nipped by a touchdown by the Cards in overtime, but got that one. The Titans, what a weird game. That was my 3-star. They got up 7-0. Then
Yeah.
they gave up, they were down like 38-7 or something crazy. And then they end up losing. They almost got, they did get the ball back with like 10 seconds left and they're down 8. Like they legitimately still had a chance. I mean, not really, but just a weird game. If they don't have all those turnovers, like I didn't watch it, so I didn't really see if it was fluky stuff or if the Colts defense was just playing really good, but that was all over the place. Can't say that it was the right pick. So my 3 stars have been struggling.
Mm.
Anyway, I did get the Pats. Nailed that game. I said the Bills were gonna come out sluggish. They did. The Patriots I think
Yeah.
got up 14-0, and then the
Yep.
Bills ended up winning only by 3. So overall, good week. We were 6-3 overall, and let's move on to week 17. Obviously,
Do it.
full slate of games. We've got Christmas Day games on Wednesday tomorrow. We have 3 on Saturday, I think, and then quite a few on must be 11 on Sunday. And then is this the last week for Monday night?
I think yes.
Okay, one more Monday night game, and then we'll see who's actually playing for something in week 18. So tomorrow, 2 games. The first one is the Chiefs Steelers. I said Chiefs by 2.5.
I did the same thing.
Same Z's.
Same these.
What I think I maybe did see this one. I think it was a little higher. Oh, it opened at 2.5. Yep, it went up to 3. So it's 3. Man, we could have nailed that if we just didn't get cute with the half point.
Yep.
But um, uh,
Had to put the hook
I'm not
on.
gonna spend a ton of time on this one. The Steelers have the Steelers clinched a playoff spot. I want to say
I don't know that they have.
yeah, I guess they haven't
Actually.
because the Broncos are sitting
Mm-mm.
there at 9 wins. The Chargers are
Yep.
sitting there at 9 wins. So obviously, the Chiefs are
Oh, they
one
did,
game.
I think, actually.
Did they?
I think they did. Yeah, they did. They clinched the playoff berth. They did. Yeah.
Do they have
It's all
11
luck.
wins or 10?
They have 10. It's the
But the
Chargers and the Broncos
tiebreaker,
haven't yet. Yeah.
the Steelers beat the Broncos in the regular season, so that's one
Yep.
tiebreaker at least. So that makes sense. So Chiefs are playing for uh, Chiefs are playing for the 1 seed. Obviously, they need to win out and have the Bills. Well, they just need to win out or have the Bills lose
Hmm.
one game. So Chiefs obviously want the 1 seed. Steelers can still win their division, so definitely something to play for both teams. I mean, 3 makes a lot of sense, right? The Chiefs beat everyone, but they don't blow them out. Um, I don't know. Like, I have to think. I mean, I think I do like the Steelers a little bit. Like, I think this is definitely going to be a close game. I think they
Right.
can pull it out at home, or maybe worst case scenario they lose by a field goal at the end. But I don't know. I just think I don't see the Chiefs really blowing them out. I'm gonna go 1 star in the Steelers here.
Right.
All right, so
On the
a good
road.
game. Yeah, that's a good game on Christmas. And the next one is both two playoff teams. I think that the Texans are kind of locked, right? Like they're the 4 seed, they clinch their division, but they can't really move up a lot. And then the Ravens are obviously they want to win their division, so they're gonna, they got a little more to play for maybe. So the Texans lost Tank Dell. They lost him for the season. He tore his
Yep.
ACL and dislocated his kneecap, which obviously hurts them a little bit. So I said Ravens by 3.
I went the other direction. I don't know why I did this. I did Texans by 3.
Texans by 3.
Yep.
I don't know what this one is. It's opened at 3.5 and it jumped up to 5.5.
But for the Ravens,
Interesting. Yeah, Ravens minus 5.5. I don't know. Like that opening maybe was before Dell got hurt. Maybe it was like a super early line and then it jumped up. I don't know. I mean the Ravens looked really good against the Steelers. Not many teams really blow out the Steelers typically, although the Eagles just did too. Um, so I guess it makes sense why it's a little higher than I thought. I don't know. Part of me, like a lot of people are going to be saying, yeah, give me the Ravens for sure. They've been blowing teams out. The Texans are kind of like inconsistent, sure, but I don't know that that's the smart move on the road. I'm going to stay away from this one.
I agree. I just don't know if these are two teams that can beat a good team but lose to a bad team rather consistently. I mean, the record speaks to that. Texans lost to the Jets. Lost to the Titans weirdly.
Yeah,
And then they've lost to the Cowboys. Lost to the Packers, lost to the Vikings. So they've seemed to lose to the cream of the crop, lost to the Chiefs. But they also, I don't know. I think staying away makes a ton of sense. I think the Ravens are the better team. To me, there's no question about that. But
I agree. Are both these teams 10 wins, right?
The Texans have 9. They're 9-6 right now.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, like
record with the Texans win.
Similar teams record wise, but I don't think the Texans can really make a run. Like they're just not consistent enough. They've lost to some bad teams.
Do you think they're like Super Bowl contenders? A lot of people thought the Texans at the start of the season were Super Bowl contenders. I don't think so. Not with the way they've been playing.
No. If anyone tells you that they think that they're still Super Bowl contenders, they're crazy. They're just fans, right? Like that doesn't.
Yeah.
No one can see that at this point, right?
No, well, certainly not with the Tank Dell injury, but then Stefon Diggs is gone. I don't know. Even before that, I felt like they were a little uneven, uncertain about him, but definitely now. No thanks.
I mean, I definitely think you got to think the Ravens win this game. I just don't know if it's close or not. So that's my opinion on that. So now we got the Seahawks are just running through all of the NFC North opponents. Well, they're not running through them; they're losing to them, but they have to play poor Seahawks. They had to play the Packers, now the Vikings, and now the Bears. So Seahawks at the Bears.
Everyone's favorite game.
Yeah. So I said Seahawks by 3.5.
That's what I said too.
Oof. And it is, I don't know. I think it's around there. I think I maybe did see this. Open at 3.5. Yeah, it's right on 3.5. Okay. This one, like we both nailed it. I think it's pretty standard. Seahawks are the better team on the road. The Bears have played bad enough to where they haven't been really competitive bad. A lot of games. So like it's more than a field goal on the road, but you don't get crazy because like if the Bears play decent, they could win this game, keep it close. It's just, are you going to get that anymore from them?
Nope. They quit. This team has quit, and they quit. It's weird. They quit. They got no get rid of Eberflus bounce. They got nothing. It did nothing to the team. It was a complete collapse after that. They've been decidedly worse since he left.
So
And I'm not saying that firing him was the wrong decision. He was not a good coach and needed to go after that decision. He had lost the locker room, but this is a rudderless ship. There's nobody to lead that team. Nobody to
yeah,
lead that
so
team.
the teams that get a bounce when the coach gets fired are the ones that have the other pieces still in place. Like the only thing they lost really was like their game manager coach that no one really liked. But
Right?
what Eberflus took with him was he managed like he coached the
He
defense,
drove the
which he's
defense,
obviously
right?
good at
Yeah,
coordinating a defense. And then
yep.
you also got a young offensive play caller who now is also the head coach. So like he's doing way more than he is experienced, qualified to do at this point. So
Yeah.
it's just too much change. But
Yes.
you're totally right. Like it made sense to do it. Who
Could
cares
not
if
go.
they win these games, right? Like it's better if
Yeah.
they don't almost.
No, it is. I mean, now you're really the conversation around the Bears is, do they keep their general manager, right? Like that's the conversation. The season is over. It was over a long time ago. Really, the questions are organizational at this point. This has been a floundering ship for 10 years, right? Cycled through 3 coaches, 3 first-round draft picks, failure at every step of the way. They need complete organizational realignment, and that's until that happens in a significant way, this is not a team we need to talk about, right? In terms of making an
Right.
impact. Well,
But
it's not.
we're close to the city, so we got to talk about them a little bit. And so you said
Yeah,
the general
yeah.
manager issue, and it's not even just like a simple like is he good enough? Should we get rid of him? It's like should we give him the power to do certain things? Should we not give him the power? And
That's
like
great.
what you're hearing from outside is like you have to just trust him with those decisions, or else what are you doing? And that's where they're running into even more problems. So I don't know,
Organizational.
like right.
Well, the question is, will Warren, who's leading the GM or who's leading the coaching search, who has what power? And that's not even getting into the stadium issue, right? Like the stuff off the field. Like they're supposed to be building a new stadium, and they have no idea where it's happening yet, right? Is it the
Maybe they'll
lakefront house in Chicago? Is it Arlington Heights?
outer space.
I mean, right? The moon could be Mars for all we know. I mean, if Elon Musk gets involved, why not Mars?
All right, so a little
Elon Musk
bit
will
of
get that stadium quicker than the Bears will.
yeah,
Anyway,
so a little bit of I don't know what the word is. Flux in Chicago. We'll just say flux. That's a not a negative word, right? That's just it's a neutral word.
yep,
Okay.
yeah,
We got the Chargers
all
at the
right,
Patriots. The
yep,
Chargers, I guess, are sort of jockeying for a better position in the playoffs,
yep.
but obviously they can't win the AFC West. So Chargers at the Patriots. Chargers by 5.5. I'm saying.
I went Chargers by 11. Give me an
Oh,
11. Road.
I
I went
think
way high.
I'm trying to. I'm pretty sure I'm close, but open at 5.5, and it is down to 4.
It's so weird. Well, I guess the
Interesting.
Patriots gave the build something, but it was a great win the Chargers had against the Broncos. They looked really good. They looked like everything they weren't last year, the previous years, where they just couldn't stabilize, couldn't come back, and they fought through some adversity in that game and they won it. I don't know. I expected more. I just don't think the Patriots are very good, but maybe it's some also that East Coast West Coast thing coming into play.
Yeah.
Travel.
So I mean, the Chargers gave up points on their first to the Broncos on like the first 3 or 4 possessions, but then they really obviously kicked it in the second half.
Yes.
And then it was weird. It was like the Broncos could do everything they wanted in the first half, and then the adjustments. I think that's kind of been Harbaugh's MO is like the halftime
Yeah.
adjustments. He usually figures it out. And how about the free kick conversion?
I mean, what like something that hasn't happened since before I was born, before either of us were born. I
So
didn't even
for
know that was a thing.
yeah, so for those who don't know that are watching this, if the clock runs out and the other team gets a penalty at the end of a half, you can choose to kick a free kick, which means there's no defense. You just have a holder holding the ball. You can kick it from where the ball is. You don't have to snap it, and you can try to score 3 points with no defense. So they're at the Broncos 47. So they choose to kick a free kick. Dicker can take all the time he wants, line it up, no pass rush, no block, no nothing. And he kicks a 57-yarder right down the middle.
Okay.
And it,
Yeah.
it turned it from, 11-point game to an 8-point game going into the half. And it was just a huge momentum change. Kind of a really poor decision on the Broncos to rough the punt returner and give him those yards. So and
Never a
the
good idea.
possession, just going back, the possession before the Broncos had the ball with like I don't know a minute left, and so
Mhm.
they threw two passes, and then on third down they ran it with
Mhm.
with like 8 seconds left, and then Harbaugh's like, okay, timeout, make them punt it. And usually it doesn't work out, but why not try it? And then
Sure.
it actually worked. They got 3 points out of it, and it, like I said, it was huge. I think if I remember right, the Broncos had the ball coming out of the half, so like got it down to 8. Then they get a stop, and pretty soon they're ahead. I think they got ahead even in the third quarter, and then they just kind of held on. But just another we're Josh is obviously used to these bad coaching decisions, and I used to be a lot more so with the Vikings in the past. But like, it's just refreshing to see like coaches do the right thing most of the time.
It's
um,
first with how important like the head being a head coach is and knowing the rules of the game and how those rules interact with the clock and your players on the field. And it is so much more than just understanding the defense, right? Which is how the Bears, sorry to bring it back to the Bears, but how they have hired, right? I need a defensive person and then we'll figure out the offensive side. And it's no, you got to have somebody who understands the game top to bottom.
if
And that
you're
you're right, like Harbaugh, like looking what he did at that point, like those are the things that matter most. And you got to have a head coach who understands that. And if you don't, you're likely probably going to fail, like more often than not.
Yeah, if you're a head coach, you got to use your head in
Use your
all
head.
parts
That's
of the
right.
game.
That's right.
Okay, so
Bears.
this line, so it's only Chargers by 4. It sort of makes sense. The Patriots kind of almost beat the Bills. They're still playing hard, but
Yeah.
they're like week to week, you don't really know what you're getting. I mean, I don't think the Patriots win this game, but again, like, do the Chargers have the ball up 3, running out the clock? Maybe. So I don't know. Four is a little too much. I think it's very fair. No opinion there.
I could see it a little higher, but I don't know. It's fine. I do
All
think
right.
you can. I'll go ahead and take the Chargers though here. You can give me 2 stars on the Chargers.
All right. Okay, 4 down, 12 to go. We got the Broncos at the Bengals. This is an interesting one for sure.
Yes, it is.
I went standard Bengals by 3.
That's what I did. We're tied
All
on this
right,
one.
what is it? It opened at 3.5. It came down to 3. So it looks like it's gonna settle right on that number.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 3 ties this week, and I hit the other 2, but we're um, very close on most of these. And I mean, at this point in the year, like, you kind of know what you're getting from most of these teams, especially like this is like the Bengals lose, they're definitely out. If they win, they got to still have a chance at least. So very evenly, like, talent wise, these teams skill level very evenly matched. It makes sense why it's 3. So just no opinion on this, but what the Bengals need, they need to beat the Broncos, obviously, and then they're going to need to win in Week 18 against I forget who they play, someone not very good. And then obviously they need to beat the Broncos, and they also need the Broncos to lose next week to the Chiefs. But if the Chiefs win this week and the Bills would lose, then the Chiefs get the 1 seed, so they wouldn't be playing their starters. So can you
The
look up a
Bengals
couple
got to
things?
beat the Steelers, their
There
final
you
game
go.
of the year.
At home though, or not?
Oh, that's a really good question. It is at the Steelers. They're on the
Oh,
road for that final game. So that is a pretty big. I don't know, man. This offense is good enough to get that job done. I don't know if holistically the team is though.
right. I mean, their defense has played so much better the last 3, 4 weeks, which is just weird. Like, why did it take them that long to figure it out? They've played bad teams too more often,
Yeah.
so that makes sense. Um, what else was I gonna say?
I mean, if they can't beat the Broncos this weekend, they don't deserve to make the playoffs, right? And
It-
because the Broncos, the team that they need this win just as much as the Bengals do.
right. So the other thing was, are the Chiefs only one up in the loss column on the? No, they're two up on the Bills. So if the Chiefs win this
Yeah,
week, they don't have to play
they're
anyone.
done. They don't have to. They can rest everyone next. Yep, that's right.
So obviously the Bengals are cheering hard for the Steelers, and then they just need to take care of
Yep.
business. So
Yep.
interesting week. Got to just see what happens. But obviously, if you're the Bengals, you just take care of business. Although against a tough
Mhm.
opponent, and see what happens. But that's interesting. The Bengals could be. Never mind. They wouldn't be eliminated. But if the Chiefs win tomorrow, then the
Yeah.
Bengals would kind of know what's going on. So it'll be interesting to see if that affects their mentality if the Chiefs do win. But I don't know if their coach is half decent, that shouldn't affect them. You should be nose down trying to win the game. Anyway, I don't have an opinion on that one. We can move on.
Yep. Let's do
We
it.
got the Cardinals who just lost to the Panthers and are eliminated from the playoffs uh, against
Dude,
the.
like 4 weeks ago, man, we're like Cardinals. Here come the Cardinals, division leading Cardinals, and then they just shat the bed week after week, and they're
There's
over.
always there's always there's at least one team every year where it's like a tale of three seasons. Like usually it's like really
Yeah.
good and then like bad and then good again. Or in the case of the Cardinals, didn't they start off bad and then they won four in a row?
That's
Something
right.
like that. Yeah.
That
So
is correct.
bad, good, and now they're just losing to bad teams. But
Yep.
that was call me stupid, but that was a little bit of a tough spot on the road against the Panthers. Like the Panthers are still playing hard, even though they lost to the Cowboys
Fighting
last week,
every
got
week,
blown
man.
out.
Yep,
Um,
fighting every week.
so we got Cardinals at the Rams. I
Yep.
said Rams by 5
At the Rams
or
by 3.5.
5.5. I said not 5. You said 3.5.
I did.
Okay, what do we got here? Opened at 5.5. It went up. There's a
Yeah.
couple sixes, a couple 6.5s, and a 4.5. So we'll call it 6.
Yeah.
So I get that one. Okay, so the Rams are certainly a better team at this point, and also you don't know if the Cardinals they're eliminated. So I don't know if they're mathematically eliminated. I think they are, but anyway, um, are you going to get are they going to play hard? So if the Cardinals were still in it, this might be more like 4-5. Now Cardinals are out. Are they gonna be playing hard or not? So it kind of creeping up towards a touchdown, but I don't know. If you know what you're gonna get from the Cardinals this week, let me know. I don't know. So
I don't think
no,
anything. I mean, I think this team is done. It's a weird team. I feel like they're about to move off from. I think you're going to see a lot of changes coming in the offseason for this team. The team that is over the last 5 years just hasn't been able to do much with what they have. New
yeah,
coach didn't.
I, it's hard for me to say what exactly the problem is. It seems like doesn't seem like I don't know. Obviously consistency, but with other teams, it's a little bit easier to say. With the Cardinals, I don't really know. I don't know what I would do if I was their general manager. What is the
I
problem
don't know.
there?
Yeah, I mean they lost to the Seahawks twice in 2 weeks. That's just, and it wasn't even
Yeah,
close in the game. I mean that's like I get the Vikings. The Vikings are a good team and they played them close, but they
yeah.
beat
I
the
think
they beat the Chargers, the Dolphins. Wow, they
I
killed
think
it.
Gannon. I, I don't know how many games they won last year. I feel like Gannon deserves at least one more year, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I, you'd have to. I feel like their fans know what the problem is. I just haven't watched enough of them to really know if it's like. I feel like Kyler Murray had a good enough year, from a quarterback position to get a team to the playoffs, but I could be wrong on that. They obviously have some pieces. Connor's really good. McBride's really good. Buda Baker on defense. I don't know. I guess it's just consistency, and I don't know if that's coaching or what that is, but
I
we'll
know
see.
he's got over 3,000 yards 16 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. It's not horrible, but it's not great either.
Yeah,
He's setting the
very
world on fire.
average.
Yeah,
And their whole scheme, especially against the Vikings, was just short passes, and it was working. It was just like death by a thousand cuts. But at the same time, you're only up by a score at the end, and then you kind of blow it, and you can't. They needed a drive with like 40 seconds left, and you can't dink and dunk and go score a touchdown, with or a field goal to tie it using that method. You got to be able to push it down the field. And I think Harrison was a little bit of he wasn't consistent enough. He should have been better as a top 5 pick.
We don't talk about him. I mean, he's not the best receiver of the draft class right now. It's not even close.
Right. Yeah. So definitely some question marks there.
Yeah. No doubt. No question.
Okay. We got the Cowboys who are fighting hard. Are going to go play the Eagles. Hurts got concussed. Eagles lose to the Commanders. Hurts went out in the first half, and the Commanders win it right at the end.
Yep.
So I was assuming Hurts will play. I got the Eagles by 9.
Yeah. So I went Eagles by 8. I'm also assuming Hurts is good.
You said 8?
Yes.
This one I have not seen at all. I have no idea what it is. Okay, so it's 9 or 9.5. Okay. So there's two 9s, 2 9.5s. They're not showing an opening line. Obviously, that Hurts is out, possibly out, so we just don't know. We'll call it 9. It's definitely more than you're closer, even if it's 9.5. So, or hold on, I said 9.
No, I said 8.
You said 8.
Said 9.
Okay, yeah. So I do get that one. Okay, a couple, like 3 weeks ago, this is probably Eagles by 12. Cowboys have been playing well. Eagles, if Hurts plays, the Eagles should be favored on most teams at home by more than a touchdown. So I don't know. It just made a lot of sense to go more than a touchdown, but like less than double digits. So it's kind of why I settled on 9. No opinion here either. Obviously, it matters a ton if Hurts plays or not. I assume he will. I just don't know how bad his concussion was. I didn't see it. And I mean, like the Cowboys are a little bit frisky, but it's a tall task going on the road against the Eagles. So no opinion on that one.
Cooper Rush versus Dak Prescott talk.
I mean,
they're playing for him.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, this year the output was the same, like pretty much the same. Dak didn't do any better. He might have done worse, right?
I mean, I'll take the Cowboys here too for 2 stars as well. Like I can see them closing a 9-point gap.
All right, you got it. Let's some things to watch there. Obviously, Hurts concussion. Yep. Can the Cowboys keep playing well against a division opponent? And so the Eagles losing now, the Lions and Vikings now obviously are the top contenders for the 1 seed, and so we'll see how that plays out. The Vikings have to play the Packers and the Lions the last 2 games, so I can't come out and say I think they're going to win both of those games. They maybe go 1-1, so it's going to be tough for the Vikings to get the 1 seed, but they got a chance. I mean, that Eagles loss is huge for the Lions and the Vikings. All right. Yep. Panthers at the Bucks. I said Bucks by 6.
I have the Bucks given 4.5.
Let's see here. Oh, it opened at 8.5. And it's down to 8. Really? That doesn't make any sense. Did the Panthers have an injury or something?
I don't know. That's weird to me because especially the way the Bucks lost.
Yeah. So
this is a team, man. Like, what the hell?
Right. So
they had the playoffs. They were owning it, and then they shat the bed. That was a hell of a weird play though, too, at the end of the game.
The fumble?
Yeah, or the strip fumble, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
So there was like 4 minutes left, and the Bucks had just tried that deep pass to McMillan that got stripped away and intercepted. I turned it off, and then I checked it before I went to bed, and I'm like, hold on, the Bucks scored, and now they have the ball back. So what happened on the fumble? I didn't actually see it.
Like he was taken, like they like took it away from him. Like the defender just was able to sort of like pull it away. It was like it wasn't even like it never hit the turf. It was just sort of like
On the
the
Rashad White one at the very end.
yeah, yeah. It
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
like it wasn't like a fumble. Like he just like sort of ripped it out of his hands.
Oh, and that's what happened on the one McMillan had too. Like he had it, and like the Cowboys were just hungrier. They just were taking the ball away from him. It was kind of weird.
It
So
was a weird play.
with the Bucks being 8, like it's higher than I think. Like it sort of makes sense. The Bucks almost lost to the Panthers. It went to overtime a couple weeks ago. They should have lost. So you got the Bucks. You lose to the Cowboys, which disrupts your playoff plans a lot. Now they need to win out and get some help. So they didn't forget that they almost lost to the Panthers. So that'll give them a little juice. Now their backs against the wall. That'll give them a little juice. So I guess it makes sense why it's higher. But 8, like the Panthers have played most teams tough. Like just seems like a lot.
They've been playing good the last 4 weeks. Yeah. I'll take the Panthers here too for 3 stars.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right, torn. I don't really know. Like part of me thinks one way, part thinks the other. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah.
All right.
I just hope the Panthers can cover a touchdown.
Right.
Like, and it's more than a touchdown. So I think they can be within a touchdown of the Bucks.
Yeah, that's fair. We got the Jets at the Bills. The Jets almost scored 10 points this last week. I think they lost 19-9. That was good for them. I said Bills by 13.
The Bills given 10. Should have gone higher.
I don't know. I don't know what this one is either. It is not there. Where? Opened at 10.5, and it is 9.5 is the most consistent, I would say. So you got that one.
I'll take one. First one of the week.
Right. Yeah, 5-1. 9.5. Why?
That's a weird.
The Jets are terrible.
Yeah, they're awful. It's another team that has kind of given up. They're not playing for anything.
It's a division game. Did they play the Bills tough?
Yeah.
At home? I don't know. I guess like it's so much lower than I thought, so I would say Jets, but no way. I mean, no opinion on that one.
No, best not to touch it.
All right, another
like the Bills, yeah.
Turd burger game. A bunch in a row here. Colts at the Giants. I said Colts by 5.5.
Colts by 4.5.
And it is 7.5 up to 8.
Wow.
So I get that one. We were both kind of off. So you got the Colts. I mean, I get it. Giants are getting blown out most weeks by everyone.
Yep.
You never know which quarterback is able enough to play, and they're all bad. So we were talking about what the Bengals needed. So the Colts are still in it technically too. I think they're, what are they, 7-8?
Yeah.
So the Colts, if they win out, they need something to happen. I just don't think about the Colts as much, obviously, because with my son being a Bengals fan, I'm trying to tell him like what they need to get in. So Colts are mathematically alive. I guess you'd think that they could beat up on the Giants, but I don't know. If there's any fight left in the Giants, their coach should be saying, hey, we can knock these guys out of the playoffs. Some of you are playing for jobs. Like, let's figure it out this week. I just don't know if I'm buying that or not because it seems like they've been lifeless for months at this point. No opinion.
Yep. No, me neither.
All right,
No.
another turd, super turd here. Raiders.
I mean, I don't want to watch this game. I think the Colts will win. Yeah, I think the Colts will win. That's another team. They're like Arizona. Like, what are they doing with what are they doing with themselves? What are they? Just more
And
questions and answers.
that's funny that you say that because they got both of the Eagles coordinators. The Colts is what
Yeah,
Steichen, and then
that's right.
Gannon is at the
That's yeah.
Cards. So
hmm
right, they've each had two
Yeah.
years now.
Yep. This was right after the Super Bowl appearance. They jettisoned. Yeah, went to those teams, and they're neither of those. You're right. They're not good enough to fire, but are they good enough to keep? Or they're not bad enough to fire, but are they good enough to keep? I don't
Yeah.
know.
So far, the Sirianni coaching tree is less than or equal to the McVay coaching tree, is what we're saying. As far as
I will say this: I don't know about that, but I think it's better than the Belichick coaching tree. I will.
oh,
I think
who
that's
Sirianni?
yeah. Sirianni's coaching tree is better than Belichick's. Like
Yeah.
Belichick's coaching, is an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, just
But he
like
must have did everything for that team, Belichick, because those coordinators left knowing nothing about how to manage and run football. Nothing.
right, for sure. Yeah. All right, let's go on to this super turd I was talking about. Raiders at the
Yay!
Saints.
Like,
I said Saints by 3 in the toilet bowl.
I got Saints given 1.5. I almost went pick 'em
Uh,
here.
it opened at Raiders 1, and that's what it is.
Makes no sense to me. They're on the
Well,
road.
you get that one. 6-2, I'm ahead. So
Yeah.
the Raider, well, I mean, I don't know. You saw what the Saints did last night. Nothing. They would have done as
Yeah,
well if they didn't
exactly.
show up.
Yeah,
Um, Carr's done for the year. I mean, Rattler shows some flashes. He makes like a 10 out of 10 difficulty throw and then can't
yep.
do anything else. But the
Very wrong.
Raiders, I don't know. Like, did the Raiders beat the Jaguars this week? So I guess they won a game, so that
Oh,
makes a little sense. But who played quarterback? Was O'Connell back? Like
no, I
he's
don't know. And I think they alternated. I don't think it was just one guy.
oh
I
really?
think I think
Is
I
this
don't
where
know.
the two quarterback NFL system is born and everyone's going to start
Maybe,
doing it?
maybe in the fires of adversity, here it comes.
All
Um, God, the
right,
Jaguars
that's
are
a.
also good. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I guess the Raiders because they're favored on the road, but
It was
no opinion.
O'Connell.
It was.
O'Connell was the quarterback. He didn't throw for any touchdowns, no interceptions. They did it on the ground. 2 rushing
I mean
touchdowns.
that makes sense then why the Raiders are.
Yeah.
He's certainly better than
Yeah.
Ritter, I would say, and certainly
Yeah.
better than Rattler. And
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're the Saints, you probably just shut Kamara down. He was hurt. He couldn't play. Carr's out. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It makes sense, but no opinion
Yeah.
there.
Mm.
All right. Titans at the Jaguars. Boy, I said Titans
Yeah.
by 1.
I went. I went Jags giving 2 for some reason.
I don't know what this is. It is. Oh, it says canceled. They canceled the game because the teams are
It's
too
so
shitty.
bad.
Oh, that's fine, I guess. No, it's Jaguars
Yeah.
by 1. So you get that just barely.
Woo! Look at me
All
go.
right. So everyone apparently agrees that the Titans are a little bit better team, but Jags are slightly favored. Yeah, I mean, if you looked at like half of the Titans Colts game, like a certain half, like uh, pieced it together, you'd have thought the
Mm.
Titans were like Super Bowl contenders. And then if you'd have looked at the other half where they got outscored like 30 something to nothing in like the middle of the game, you'd have said they're a college team. But um, I don't know. Like, I think we just skip over this, right? Like, who
What? Yeah.
knows
What
what's going to
do you say
happen in
about
this
these
game?
teams?
Right.
there's nothing but uncertainty surrounding both of these teams. I mean, the Titans are probably going to keep their coach, but other than that, just nothing but questions, right? Just
Right.
pure speculation. So,
Right.
man,
All right. Let's move on. So we got the
yeah,
Dolphins and the Browns. Are the Dolphins were close to being mathematically eliminated. I don't know if they are.
I
I don't
mean,
know if that's something we can look up quick. But anyway, Dolphins at the Browns. So I just said Dolphins by
doesn't
3.
I got Dolphins given 3.5.
I haven't seen this one. I feel like it could definitely be higher than 3. Um, it is, it's 6.5, opened at 6.
So,
Uh,
according to my TBS app, the Dolphins have an 8.6% chance to make the playoffs.
so they're still in it. So they
Barely.
need to win and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
probably 4 things need to happen this week. So they need to win out and have 4 things happen, probably something like
Yeah.
that.
The top
So
5 seeds in the AFC. I mean, I think the top 5 seeds in the AFC have all clinched, and then the Chargers are 97%. So it's really only the 7th spot that's open, the Broncos.
right, that
That's
makes
what's at
sense.
play right now. Yeah.
Yeah, the Chargers swept the Broncos, so the Broncos can't. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Um, I mean, Dorian Thompson Robinson played quarterback for the Browns. He
Mhm.
looked like he was managing the game okay, kind of kept him close, but um, ended up throwing some picks, and I don't know. That was a kind of a weird game. Ended up losing. Bengals beat them 24-6. So, you know, Thompson Robinson's going to play. Dolphins are sort of hanging on to life support here. I think it's very fair. I think I sort of had in
Yeah.
my head that the Dolphins might be eliminated, and maybe that's why I guessed a little lower. But
Well,
I don't know. Like, are the Browns going to be frisky at home, like they
no,
are sometimes against a team that's still playing for a little bit of something, or not? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I mean, Kevin Stefanski, I feel like in spite of the fact that uh, the team has not done very well this year, I feel like his job is safe. I think he's a good coach. Like he's done more with that team than maybe that's not entirely true, but he's had a good run and some really bad luck at quarterback. And I don't know how involved he was in the Deshaun Watson decision, but I think he's certainly earned more time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, so let's move on to a couple decent games. So we got Packers Vikings at 3 o'clock on Sunday, I believe. So I said Vikings by 2.
I have the Vikings by 3.5, given 3.5.
And let's see. It opened at 1. It's 1 or 1.5. We'll say 1. Either
Okay.
way, I'm gonna get that one.
Yep.
So I'm up 7-4. I clinched the week there. Um, yeah, I mean, no one, the Vikings aren't, well, I don't know if not flashy is the way to describe the Vikings, but no one is giving the Vikings any sort of chance. They're just that team that keeps winning games that no one thinks is very good.
Right.
So this makes sense. Like the Packers, with what they did in the playoffs last year, winning a road game, almost winning 2 road games. I get it. Like no one's gonna give the Vikings the benefit of the doubt, which is why it's not 3; it's lower than 3. And I don't like. I have to. I do like the way the Viking like they win close games this year. They have a great home field advantage, but this is lower than 3. It just feels like a spot that the Packers come in and kind of disrupt things. I hate that I'm saying this, but I gotta go Packers on this one. I'm gonna go 2 stars Packers.
I mean, the Packers look pretty good. I mean, look, given their opponent, though, I don't know what conclusions you can draw from that game last night. But they're a good team. I mean, the NFC North, weird to say, is the best division in football, and they've got maybe the top 3 of the 6 teams in the NFL right now in the NFC North, maybe 5.
Yeah,
Right, with maybe only the Chiefs and the Bills, you would say are better than, or maybe the Eagles are there, but
Definitely the
Right?
Eagles.
Like,
I mean, any most people are going to tell you they like the Eagles better than the Vikings and Packers still, I would say.
yeah,
But
and maybe the Lions, given their injury situation,
yeah, yeah, maybe. But yeah, I mean, like having three teams.
is good.
So 23, they have what, 35 wins out of those three teams. That is insane.
Yeah, incredible,
Um,
incredible. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
All right. So I'm going Packers. Like I just think it could go either way. And so you take the
sure.
underdog. It just feels like a spot where they might come in. Although last year, this same game, same time of year, the Vikings chose to start Jaron Hall over Mullins in this spot, and they just got the doors blown off. I mean, Hall was terrible. The Packers came into U.S. Bank and just manhandled the Vikings. So maybe
Yeah.
there's a little like remember last year sort of a thing, like let's go. But both teams are going to be absolutely jacked. That should be a
Oh yeah.
very good game.
Yep.
Um, back and forth, I would say for sure. All right.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Falcons at the Commanders. I said Commanders by 6.
I said Commander also by 6. Yeah.
All right. It was 4.5, kind of all over the place. It's 5, it's 4, mostly fours actually. So we'll say 4.
Okay. Yep.
So we obviously tie. We said the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going 3 stars on the Commanders here, and I'll tell you why. Uh, if people who didn't really watch the Falcons game, don't really know what happened. They'll see 34-7. They'll probably think, "Oh, Penix came in, played well. He did have a decent stat line. Um, yeah, they're going to be competitive against the Commanders." But if he started off like 2 of 5, 2 of 6, he had like 20, 30 yards passing into the second quarter. Um, if you do that against the Commanders, you're going to probably be down 14-3, 14-0. It's going to be a little bit different situation, especially with. I feel like Dan Quinn can coach a defense against a rookie quarterback, especially one that's only played one game. I think I think this is where we find out that the Falcons should have stuck with Cousins if they wanted to still make the playoffs. So I'm going to
Yeah.
go Commanders for 3 stars.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I just also think just Jaden Daniels has been really good, and he's electric. Um, yeah, and I just like him better than the Falcons. Whatever the Falcons can put up there, offensively, I put more faith in Jaden Daniels, I think, right now than I do Dan Quinn. So yeah, I think that's smart.
It's just asking Penix to do a lot. Go on the road against a playoff caliber team in your second start
Yeah,
and win the game so that your team could stay in the playoff hunt. Like
yeah,
I just don't
it's
see
a
it
lot.
happening. All right. Last game, which was supposed to be a great game, a
Yeah,
rematch of the NFC Championship game, and the Niners are
yeah,
just hurt and terrible this year. So
done. Yeah, yep.
Lions Niners, I said Lions by 6.5.
Lions by given 7, 7.5, 7.5.
It is opened at 3.5 and it's 3.5. What?
I mean, that has to be about the Lions' injuries, but that's weird. That's really doing a disservice to the Lions. Like,
I don't get
it's
it.
disturbing.
Like the Niners
I don't
just
know. Either.
got beat by double digits against the Dolphins. They haven't shown anything. Like I guess it's their Super Bowl. Like they're planning to like disrupt.
It's
I don't get it. So
no, I don't
obviously,
know.
like with it being low, I would normally say, okay, yeah, Niners.
Mhm.
I just don't see it at
No, I don't
all.
know. No.
So no opinion on that one. We'll
Lions
see.
are
I
gonna
don't
win.
know. Like, are the
I,
Lions even more banged up than did they get even more banged up this week or something? Like,
are
it
they
doesn't.
gonna start resting people? Like, is that like a thing? Like, I know they haven't clinched anything, so why would they?
No, they
They're
definitely
still
wouldn't.
playing for home field.
They definitely wouldn't do that.
mean, even with the Eagles' loss, it's a weird line.
For sure. All right. Again, not much to say about that. Like, I don't know how you don't take the Lions, but with it being that low, it's kind of
Yeah,
confusing. So let's just go back through
I'll
here.
take the
We
Lions
each
for 1 star actually.
Lions
Why
for
not? Just
one.
do. I don't think I
All
have a one
right.
star. I like the Lions. Go Lions.
Okay. So running back through here, you have the Lions for 1 star, minus
Mhm.
3.5 at the Niners. You have the Panthers +8 at the Bucks for 3. You have the Cowboys +9 at the Eagles for 2, and you have the Chargers on the road -4 against the Patriots for 2. I have the Steelers at home against the Chiefs for 1 +3. I have the Packers on the road +1 at the Vikings for 2, and I have the Commanders 3 banger at home against the Michael Penixes -4. I think we find out that it's tough to play early in your rookie career on the road against a good defensive coach against a playoff caliber team. So that's all I got for this week.
Yeah,
Got any
man.
got any parting words?
Uh, I
Merry
can't wait for the
Christmas.
playoffs, man. Let's see some playoffs. That's what I'm ready for.
Yeah, happy holidays. Let's
Yeah.
uh let's
Merry Christmas.
let's get some let's keep some of these fringe teams alive for week 18 so we have some
Yeah.
more decent
Exciting stuff.
games.
Nobody rested nobody.
No, go Vikings.
Go Bears.